Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first week of the Road to Pro series. We're coming live from Spa-Francorchamps. I'm Dean Prescott, joined by Marcus Caton.
Sup, gang?
And we've also got Charles Sears doing the cameras, so thank you very much, Charles. Just waiting for the session to come up. Let's take us through the track guide, thanks to Fujira Racing.
And welcome to 4Racer Aira Track Guides. This week we are going to one of the most legendary tracks of all time, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. The original almost 15 kilometers long track has changed quite a lot through the years, but it still has the main characteristics of what it used to be. There are only a few corners in the whole world as famous as the Eau Rouge, which leads to the long Camel Straight. The corner describes well the whole track, as there are many fast corners and quick direction changes, which require a good responsive car. Even with the long straights, the downforce required at this track is somewhere between medium and high. Our driver for this track is Martti Pietilä. Let's ask him a few questions before he will talk us through the lap. Martti, the obvious question, tell us about Eau Rouge.
It's a very nice corner, flat out every time. The last section, the left-hander, is pretty interesting and the car gets very light there.
What do you consider the most interesting part of the track?
Definitely Pujon, as it's a very fast corner, just a slight lift on the entry and then back on full throttle.
And now it's time for the lap.
Brake early for La Source. It's a slow corner. Watch out so you don't overshoot it because you need all the speed going downhill towards Eau Rouge. Eau Rouge itself is a flat out corner on every lap. Just be careful on the last part when going over the crest. The rear end might step out a bit there. Going towards Camel Straight, the best overtaking position on the track. Brake just after the curbing on the left hand side. Use the whole track, but watch out on the second corner as the inside curbing is a bit bumpy. Accelerate through third gear, fourth gear towards Bruxelles. Brake hard and very deep into the corner. Again, a bit bumpy on the inside there. Going second gear, third gear. The car gets very unstable throughout the corner 11. Heading towards Pujon, a very nice corner, just a slight lift on the entry and then going back to full throttle, accelerating towards Campus Chicane. Very nice combination of corners. Keep on the inside of both turns as the track has a bit positive camber on it. Heading towards Tavolet, a very important corner, second gear. Watch out on the exit as the curbing on the outside is quite slippery. Accelerate all the way to 6th and then 7th gear through Blanchimont. Use very smooth steering input so you don't scrub off any speed, especially here. Heading towards bus stop, very good place for overtaking. Start braking just before the curbing on the left and use the whole track. Watch out on the exit as the track has some camber changes so it can unsettle the car a bit. Alright, there's the lap. Hope you enjoyed and see you next time.
Alright, nice track guide there by Forces Your Racing.
Yeah, thanks for that, Marty. Just waiting for the session to come up now. She'll be starting in a sec.
Yes, looking forward to this one. First race of the Pro Series is going to be a tough, close fight all the way throughout the field, I think. And as we saw in qualifying, the cutoff time was like a low 46. So, 8 tenths of a second difference between nearly the whole field. So that's pretty good to see.
Yeah, the guys up into the 45s. 45.2, I think, was on pole. Interesting, Marcus, what you'd think would be the DWC time for with these conditions?
I figure it'll be the same actually. Probably another tenth or two just from alien spec stuff, but it's surprisingly close, and all throughout the Class A seasons, we've seen that the gap between the DWC have come down significantly. So that's why this Pro Series is looking to be a very exciting one. Is the fact that it's so close to the DWC that once we get the top 25 for the DWC next season, it's going to be a fight throughout the entire field.
Indeed, and it seems like the session is just coming up now. So we'll head our way into there, see what kind of lap times people are doing. Don't forget, we've got the 10 minutes of warm-up. So I'll give a quick rundown through the grid once we're in.
Yep, these guys will be calm, collecting themselves, getting ready for a tough race. 44 laps at Spa. It's a very long circuit, so it's going to be an interesting one, both for the drivers in that they can easily make a mistake in a slow speed corner, and it's a fantastic challenge. And the racing in itself, the long straights, there's going to be a lot of defending and fighting for position, especially coming out of turn 1.
Yeah, so a lot of times, probably from the off of the fuel, we're looking at 147s maybe, a little bit higher. So, just waiting for the session still to come up. It seems to be taking its time with the new updates that we've had with the 2048 skins available now. You can see we've got some live pictures coming from Charles. Thank you very much, Charles, for jumping in again. Obviously, Alex is in the stream, so in the race, sorry, so he can't join in doing the broadcast.
Yes, it'll be quite funny to bother Alex in a Pro Series race now.
Yeah, but it's certainly different seeing him out on track rather than hearing him, so we've got your commentary to come, Marcus. I've had you a few times in ARL TV. See yourself as a bit of a Martin Brundle, don't you?
I don't have the voice, not the range, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm a racer at heart, so it's just going to be all about the racing for me. And just hoping these guys will do a fantastic job today. There's going to be a lot of winners and losers, I'm sure, but it's racing.
Yeah, still, I'm taking forever to join. Not sure what it could be. You can see some guys just coming into the pits, maybe practicing the pit entrance for the first time. Don't know if you're in, Marcus, if you want to take us through the grid.
Yes, the grid is Ricardo Casciolito on pole with a 45.251, very nice lap. Second place is Alexius Jacula, 45.3, and Olli Pakala, Juho Abe, Rocco Boron in 5th, Alex Simpson in 6th, Riku Alatalo in 7th, Daniel Lopez 8th, Antoine Higelin in 9th, 10th is Kazuki Omashima, 11th Paul Lindbergh, 12th is Tommy Nielsen, 13th Paulo Muya, then Michelle Mancusi, Christian Lorette, Isaac Price, Michael Bowman, Rasmus Talley, Rosuke Iwasaki, Alexia Loma, Piero Bitsu in 21st, Peter Guevara in 22nd. Then we have Samuel Del Fute in 23rd, Robin Friskops in 24th, Jan Niolaski in 25th, Lasse Bruno Hansen in 26th, Jon Jens 27th, Michelle Cesini in 28th, Jonas Nukuranen in 29th, Rafa Bordo in 30th, Lee Thompson in 31st, David DeCorps in 32nd, Javier Jose 33rd, and PJ Lucy and Fabio Del Carmo, finishing up the grid.
Well, that's a very long grid. Got the guys just jumping into the grid slots now. So 35 guys ready to take on Spa-Francorchamps. Be interesting to see what turn 1's like.
Absolutely.
The guys at the front.
Ricardo on pole, followed closely by Alessi. Alessi's going to be looking for a good start, but he's going to be on the outside, so there's not much you can do unless Ricardo gets a bad start. So turn 1 is always a problem area at Spa. So many things
And
can
here
go
we go.
wrong.
The revs are building.
So, see how it goes.
Green.
And we are green at Spa.
Oh, Ricardo had a very bad start. Looks like Alessi is going to have it going wide into turn 1. All the way around the outside.
Oh, we've
This
got
is the position
contact.
again. Oh, big crash in the rear.
ARLTV cars around. Well, I think that's actually Mr. Simpson.
It's unfortunate. Looks like Simpson has bad damage, maybe out of this race.
And we've
But,
got even more carnage at the top of Eau Rouge. Looks like we've got about 6 cars included in that. We've got 3 cars down Kemmel Straight. Got a slow car on the right. Oh, contact again. So far this is not looking good.
So midfield is going absolutely crazy. The first set of guys is pretty clean now, going through the middle sector. Looks like Ricardo has lost a significant amount of position. Oh, we'll see.
Ricardo's definitely lost out. He's down behind Cesini there.
We'll see what the grid is like once we go around it for the first lap and the timing update. But this looks like we've lost a fair amount of drivers, 2 incidents on this first lap, mainly in the midfield and towards the rear. But we'll see how things change for the rest of this race.
Yeah, we've got Ollie Pacala who's leading the way. Definitely starting to make a little bit of a break. Going for the new Glacier TV.
Alessi is down in 3rd, behind Rocco Barone.
There we go. Lap 1 complete. Ollie Pacala is your leader. Rocco Barone jumped up from 5th to 2nd.
So Antoine Hinkland is in the pits probably from damage. So that's out of the top 10 for him. So he's be looking to recover his race.
Got side-by-side action through Rouge and it's contact.
Oh!
That's Cesini and Rasmus Tully. Looks like Rasmus might have got away with that.
So Michel Mancusi out of the race. Side-by-side contact in Rouge, so that's unfortunate.
Got Ricardo now making his way back up. Maybe seeing that contact between Rasmus. Thinking I've now got a chance to get past. Alomoya sitting 7th, now up to 6th with Michele. Daniel Lopez, let's hope his connection holds up. He's been having plenty of problems this morning with it.
Yeah, he's in 8th. He's looking good so far. A bunch of cars directly ahead of him. So whatever his strategy is, he's going to be looking to start passing some people.
Paul Hilbrink and Isaac Price rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, a bit of a gap back to 11th, and even a big gap, towards 15th and so on. So we've lost a fair amount of guys on these first laps here in the Pro Series, but the race is going on, especially for the win. However, unfortunately, these incidents are lost. A fair amount of really fast guys, but so far, it's Ali Pacala in the lead by just about 9/10 of a second, followed by Rocco Barone and Alessi Jacqueline.
Yeah, and with that accident, it seems to have spread the field out quite a lot. Here we go again. Ollie comes round to start his 2nd lap. Still has that lead of just under a second now. Alessi following Rocco half a second behind.
Yeah, Rocco is just within the draft, so he might be 10th or so. He just needs to maintain the gap throughout the middle sector, but it's looking like Ollie might be able to pull away a little bit here.
Yeah, and we've got the dynamic weather in this race as well, let's not forget. Temperature is, 25 degrees C, partly cloudy, and humidity's around 56%.
Yes,
And,
they have a northwest wind, sorry, with 14 kilometers an hour. So that means they have a bit of a side wind, which gives them a little bit extra top speed, more towards a tailwind down the front straight, and a headwind going down the back straight. So we'll see a lot of passing maneuvers, either on the front straight, but the back straight should be for drafting as well.
yeah, we've got Daniel Lopez setting his sights on Ricciardo. Going into this section where the wind helps you down the back straight.
Yes, it looks
Ricciardo's
like
already defensive.
Paulo made a mistake sometime and lost the position to both of them, and looks like Daniel has got it.
Well, Daniel's straight through on Ricciardo. Ricciardo pretty much let him have it. Pretty wise actually from Ricciardo.
Yeah, the drafting with the back straight because of the headwind, I think, is a bit more important or more significant. So, but good pass from Pablo. He's up to 5th position now, and he has Rasmus Tally in his sights down the road, just another second and a half. It looks like he has the pace, so maybe light on fuel or just be faster than these guys ahead of him. We'll see.
Yeah, and Paul Elbring coming under pressure from Isaac Price. We go down Camel again.
Yeah, he's got a good run through Rouge there. He has a good run. Paul isn't defending to the left or right, so
Ricciardo's pulling over. I'm not sure if he's got damage or a slowdown.
his car's all over the
back.
place, but nice. Good clean driving there from these guys. Not sure what's going on with Paul, but maybe a bit on balance with the setup, or as you said, maybe damage. But this has got through there cleanly, and now he has to worry about Paul behind him again.
Kazuki a little bit unsighted there from Ricciardo. At the end of the Camel. Got to throw the anchors on a bit more than he thought he would. But that's Ricciardo way down in 9th position now. 6th on that lap, so just shows you what the slowdown can do.
Absolutely, he had a terrible start as well, so that didn't help him any. He was spinning his tires on the grid. He did keep the lead coming out of turn 1, but the mistake, so he lost a tremendous amount of positions. So a lot of work for him to do.
Yeah, the top 3 guys also starting to get a little bit closer to each other. Rocco pulled a 10th on Ollie that last lap round, and Oleski 3/10 is just second on Rocco.
Yeah, Oleski will have a good run going down the straight here, but Rocco is within a second of Ollie, so he'll have a draft as well. So Oleski might be in a good position going down the back straight, but no, he won't be able to pull much of a gap to get closer to Rocco for this lap.
Yeah, looks like Rocco topping out 3:12, which obviously isn't too accurate from what we've seen. He's definitely pulling some speed down Camel, more than we've normally seen in the past seasons.
Yeah, so at the moment it looks like the fight is between the top 15 guys. Just a quick run through of the order. It's Ollie Pakala in first position, Rocco Barone in second, Oleski Eustace Jackalo in third, Rasmus Tally 4th, Daniel Lopez 5th, Isaac Price in 6th, Paul Elberg in 7th, Paulo Muya in 8th, Kazuki Omashima in 9th, Ricardo Cacciolito in 10th, Oleski Aloma in 11th, Javier Jose Martinez in 12th, Michelle Cesini in 13th, Fabio Cormo in 14th, and Pierre Obitsu in 15th.
Yeah, and Pierre's coming under some pressure from one of your guys there, Marcus, Jan Mazlowski.
Yep, Jan is doing a decent job at the moment. Not to reveal a strategy or anything, but we'll see how things turn out for him towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and there's quite a way back there now to Lee Thompson.
Yeah, so a bigger gap is the back end, and these are, of course, people who had to avoid, big incidents at the start of the race, and the survivors, and especially down in the 20-somethings, you have some people who had to pit for damage, of course.
Just seeing Rafa Bordeaux limping back to the pits. He was in P17. He's just coming down the back straight. Car's grabbing.
Just a quick update on our leaders. Ollie Pakala has lost a few tenths that lap to Rocco Baron. They're very close. Rocco just lost his point. Oh, that's weird. Rocco has either maybe has a problem. I'm not sure, but he just gave the lead up to Rocco Baron, and he looks like he's a bit slow. So Aleski's going to be on his tail right here as well.
Let's have a quick look. People saying that Ollie might have cut the corner.
Yeah, so he may have gotten that slowdown penalty where he would have had to give up his advantage. So that was the momentum going down the straight, but lost the position going into turn 9, I think it is. So that's a bit weird. So maybe it's put him off his groove a little bit, and he's trying to build back up now.
Yeah, so these three closer than ever. Aleski still holding third. It does mean Rocco will come round to take his first lap. Ollie has a look up the inside. Just showing
Bit
him
of
his
a
mirrors.
defensive line from Rocco as well. So that will lose him some time here. So Aleski's going to be very close to him. And
looks like Ollie's just going to hold out for the camo.
yeah, so Ollie's back on it. He's going to have a good draft on Rocco going down the front straight, of course. Leski just behind him. He won't be able to do much because Ollie has that draft as well. So we'll see what these guys do here.
Ollie a little bit too far back, maybe to get closer. He's inching closer
A
and
little bit
closer.
further back as well, we have Daniel Lopez shaping up to pass Rasmus Tally. That's a good run, but looks like he's topping out his 57th gear, so he's not able to do anything going into turn 5.
Yeah, difficult now for Daniel to get past until the back straight again. Just needs to hold his time.
Yeah, he's very close though, so he should be in a good position. He has the pace, so suggests he may be a ladder on fuel, or he just has the pace above these guys. But after a crazy first lap, we have no idea what's going on with strategy. The order is very mixed up.
Indeed it is, and we're on lap 7. Coming around now to the final straight, albeit not very straight. A little bit wide, a little bit too far back as well, but the draft from the push from the window helping down here. Should see what he's topping up to.
Also worth note, I think Paul Lindbergh got ahead of, or Kazuki Oshima, sorry, got ahead of Paul Lindbergh for 7th position. Daniel Lopez has a very good run going down the back straight on Rasmus Tally. Tally is defending to the inside.
Yeah, Tally does everything he can.
Daniel wasn't able to set up a undercut on there on the exit, and he lost a few tenths as well. So he'll have to build back up and do the work again to get past Tally. We've seen that Lopez is a short 7th gear. He doesn't have enough to get past Tally on the straight. So I think the McLaren, he's just going to hit that limit turn on the straight and won't be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, the three guys up at the front still holding this formation. Rocco Baron still in the lead.
Yeah, it's tough for Ollie to do much. You can't take too much of a risk against Rocco because, you know, he has Aleski on his tail. And Aleski can't do much about Ollie in the straights because Ollie has a draft from Rocco, of course. So Rocco's doing a good job up front. Ollie, you know, if he had not made that mistake, he would have kept the lead comfortably because these guys are extremely close on pace at the moment.
Yeah, Ollie looks like he's struggling a little bit through the middle section though. You can just see Rocco tends to pull away a little bit. That's possibly the dirty air that's causing that. But Ollie's, whatever he loses in the middle section, he picked back up on the 2 straight, so just looks like he's not got it quite dialed in for the draft.
So strategy will probably play the biggest role for these guys here, although we see Aleski getting very close to Ollie in the last 3 corners. It's worth noting we have Javier Martinez on the tail of
Daniel Lopez again having a look at the inside to turn 1. Thinks better of it. Rasmus still holding stage 2. Here we go again. Back through Eau Rouge, back down Camel Straight. Let's see if Daniel's close enough this time to get a run. Looks like it's the closest he's been all race.
He's been consistently a little bit better through Eau Rouge and stuff, so his setup is sorted through there. But again, he's topping out on the 7th gear. So he must be extremely frustrated because he just can't do anything about Tally ahead of him.
Yeah, he's topping out, but Rasmus is actually matching his speed. So Rasmus has definitely gone for straight line speed. Knowing full well that the draft would hurt him. Daniel, here we go again. Got another good run. Can't really make a quick move right now. Seems his best place is for the pass into the final bus stop. Or at the end of Camel.
It's very close to the middle sector. He's harassing the hell out of Tally, and Tally's going to be feeling the pressure. But Daniel is the one that's looking, he might be making the most mistakes behind him here, but he's going to have a very good run going down the back straight. He's extremely close to him. So it's not perfect straight here, so he won't suffer too much from having a shorter 7th gear.
There's a look at the inside. Rasmus gives him the room.
Very risky and unnecessary maneuver there. He lost the chance to put a passing maneuver going to the last chicane from that move there. Lost some momentum and you know, lost a few tenths as well now. So he'll have to do it all over again. And if he's a bit lighter on fuel, then it's even worse for his strategy being stuck behind Tally.
And you've got another little battle just behind these two. Isaac Price and Kazuki.
Yeah, Kazuki going down to Eau Rouge now. It's a bit on the steering through there. His car is making a bit of shapes, but he's pulling up on Ian Price right now, going down the front straight. But again, it looks like another driver who decided not to run a higher 7th gear. So this is 2 or 3 guys so far that is suffering from it. Very close to guys ahead of him, but unable to do much about it on the straights.
Yeah, it's definitely not helping them. Kazuki, we know, is one of the quicker guys. Finished quite near the top in the A class to get his pro license. He's definitely showing his pace here. 30 P10, 9 P7. Dropping the back off Isaac there though.
Yeah, a bit further back down in my the fight for P13. We have Javier, Fabio, and Yanni Velasquez. So I'm getting they're very close together.
And here we go again, Daniel Lopez now looking up the inside. Coming into the fast left-hander, he's got up the inside of him. Surely they
Very
can't
aggressive, very close.
Ooh, Rasmus using the runoff.
He's maintained the position though against the last chicane, but Pablo is taking up the inside, going into the left. And he's lost some momentum, so he wasn't able to throttle up on the inside of the corner, and Tally was able to keep the position. So he made a interesting move there, and it would have paid off on him. But Tally, if this was the FIA, probably would have been told to give that position back. But of course it isn't, so he has this position. He kept it successfully going to the last chicane, and it's another lap for Daniel Lopez to look to close back up on.
Daniel will be definitely kicking himself. He knows what he's up against now. Rasmus is not giving him an inch, and it looks like Kazuki's made it past Isaac. He must have missed that one.
Absolutely. So Isaac must have made a mistake, as you know, Kazuki doesn't have the gear to just pass on the straight alone. So extra momentum, and he got the position. So Kazuki Omashima is up to 6th place now. Not too far behind Daniel Lopez, so if he can put in a few laps from Daniel trying to pass Tally, he should be able to get up there and start fighting for 4th position.
Also seen a little battle a little bit further back.
Whoa! Daniel Lopez very close to Rasmus Tally. I think they came very close to contact. Daniel Lopez is most likely losing his head here a little bit, is being a little bit more aggressive than he probably should be. But again, he has a very good run going down the back straight on the inside of Rasmus Tally, going into the last left-hander on this back straight.
And again, oh, Daniel switchy on the inside of that corner. And again, he's still on the outside.
And again, he's going to try to stick it up the inside here, but he's on the inside. He won't be able to throttle up as efficiently as Tally on the outside, straightening up his car sooner. And exactly as we figured, you know, Kazuki Omishima is right behind Daniel Lopez now. So from fighting for position, they lost time to the two guys behind them, and now Daniel Lopez has to worry about Kazuki right on his tail while he's trying to pass Rasmus Tally, as he has been now for a couple of laps.
Ooh, a little bit understeer there from Daniel. The top of Camel. Rouge, sorry. Let's
Dan's
have a look
very
what
close.
Kazuki's dodging and weaving for position. Kazuki thinks better of it.
Yeah, Daniel just had to show him that he's not going to let him up the inside, of course. But these guys are very close, so through the middle sector is going to be status quo, although Daniel has been consistently faster through the middle sector than Rasmus Tally. But he's going to probably get another good run going down the back straight coming out of turn 15.
Kazuki losing. Oh! Rasmus has had a little half spin.
He's
Kept
lost
it
at
on track.
both positions, it seems. So good save for him there, but he just lost 2 positions, and now he's under threat from Isaac Price in 7th position. So
This'll
Daniel
release
Lopez,
Daniel.
absolutely, and all this pace he's had, either from lower fuel or just from sheer determination, is for him to release now and to get the lap times up. Kazuki Omishima is very close to him. He's going to be in the draft going down the front straight, so he's not going to get rid of him that quickly. But Daniel Lopez, sorry, is up to 4th position now. Kazuki up to 5th, and Isaac Price still in 7th, but just behind.
You say that, Daniel's
Rasmus
actually
Tally.
up into 3rd. Looks like we've lost one of the leaders.
And it looks like it's Rocco
Rocco.
Barone. So let's look back for a replay now. Trying to find it.
Yeah, those two, Oleski and Ollie Pacala, still very close to each other. They're not giving each other any kind of inch, really.
I'm
Daniel-
looking at a replay of Rocco Barone, and it seems like he either got disconnected going through turn 1, so no incident, but either lost connection or just got disconnected. I have no idea, but that's unfortunate for Rocco Barone, fighting for a solid podium position, and he had a significant chance to win this race. We don't know what the strategies were, but it seems he got disconnected.
Yeah, it does indeed. We've just seen Daniel Lopez, he's very quick through this middle sector. Kazuki's very close down the straight, but Daniel, he seems to have the little bit of extra grip or confidence through this middle sector, just pushes it that little bit more.
Absolutely, you can see Kazuki's car moving around a little bit more than Daniel's, and Daniel made up a 10th or 2 on them there quite easily. So that's the fight there for, looks like, 3rd position. So just a quick run through of the top 10, as a lot has changed in this past couple of laps. We have Ollie Pacala leading the race by 5/10 to Oleski Jakula. These guys have been very close up front, but it's going to be a fight to the bitter end for these two. They're very close on pace. Daniel Lopez in 3rd, some 12 seconds back after fighting for position and being stuck behind Rasmus Tally for a while. Then it's Kazuki Omishima in 4th position, Rasmus Tally in 5th, Isaac Price in 6th, Paul Ilbrick in 7th, Oleski Aloma in 8th, Paulo Mui in 9th, and Ricardo Cacciolito in 10th position.
Yeah, just having a look at the leaders, Ollie Pacala still leading the way. Oleski seems to lose some speed down the Camel Straight. I'm not sure what that's from. On my screen he went from 317 to 312. I don't know if he's lifting. knowing full well that Ollie's on lighter fuel. Ollie still leads this race, coming up on back markers.
Yeah, tires shouldn't be much of an issue in the race here, but we'll see. Fuel strategy is very important. If any one of these drivers, especially those up front, goes a lot longer than the other, they can gain easily a second, if not three, on their competitors. So it's all about the extra lap they have pushing compared to the out lap of the other guys who just did a pit stop.
Yeah, that was Antoine Higlin for AA UK, getting out of the way nicely for the leaders.
Yep, caught up in the early incident. He's in 22nd position, so he's just looking to finish the race. It's a lot of points on the table, so just trying to get it done.
That's lap 15 now for Ollie. You can still see the Rocco's still sitting in the pits after rejoining.
It's just a quick run through of what's going on. It's Ali Patula leading, as I said before, followed by Aleski Dracula. You don't know what's going on with strategy yet, but these guys are very close on pace, and it looks like Ali just let Aleski by. So on the front straight, Aleski is now leading this race. Ali Patula is letting by, so he either got a slowdown penalty, just like Rocco got earlier in the race, and he was forced to slow down and lose some time, but or something else is going on. I'm not sure there, but it looks like Ali Patula is in second place now and over a second behind Aleski.
Team Auto's coming in so early on in the race, and the season really for that matter.
It's a bit weird. I mean, because they have 12 seconds back if it's something along those lines, or just letting a guy then a different strategy by, I don't know. But I suspect it's the slowdown penalty. It's easy to get that by cutting the corner in Rouge, unlike the real life where a driver might be told to give a position back or get a drive-through penalty. In the simulated world, we just have a slowdown penalty which is applied. The driver has to slow down and give up 2 to 3 seconds of pace from getting an advantage by cutting the track. So if it was that, then it's he's lost the position for it, but he's still in the hunt, 1.9 seconds back from Aleski Loma now.
Not showing much airtime of the guys further back. There is a little battle. Yugo Abe, P17. It looks like he's got to run around the outside. Fabio Di Carmo, who's 15th, so it looks like he's lost 2 places. Yuhu from 17th up into 16th now. It's like Lee Thompson, who's now picked up 15th place. And now just behind Javier Martinez.
Yeah, so these guys in the fight for what seems to be 13th position, they're very close, so strategy is going to come into play for these guys when we go into the pit window.
Yeah, these guys pretty much the top few in Season 3. So it is interesting to see what kind of paces they are on against returning DWC drivers or Season 1 and 2 Pro drivers.
Absolutely. It's not going to be easy. I mean, we've lost a tremendous amount of guys in the first lap or two. So throughout this season, we'll see stuff like this where incidents from drivers either being a bit too aggressive, leaving enough room, that cascades into much larger incidents that other drivers can't avoid. So we lost very fast drivers like Alex Simpson, Rico Alatalo, Potavara, and so on. And Rocco from a disconnection. So all of these things are going to play a significant role throughout the season and how it makes up the grid. So whoever the top 25 is at the end of the season, these guys are going to be on pace, and they would be trained from the harshest conditions to go up against the BWC guys next year.
Indeed they will. It looks like Yuhu's got a good run here on Lee Thompson. He's not quite defending his line just yet. He probably will into the bus stop. Indeed he doesn't actually.
It's not quite close enough to do anything about it, so Lee knows that. He's a smart racer.
Ah, and
And
Yuhu
looks
jumps
like-
into the pits.
Absolutely. So this is lap 16 and he's pitting, so he's either on a two-stop strategy or he plans to do a fairly long second stint. So he must have been hoping to pass a lot of people in the first lap of the race and then make it up in the second half, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely not paid off for him. Lee can now breathe easy again.
So Yuho being the first of the group to pit. Pit window we figure to open at least after halfway in the race. Some people might run 22 laps. It's a 44 lap race here at Spa. And most guys after that will be running a fair bit longer, probably going to lap 30 or so to run the last 13 laps or so on fuel. So we'll see how this strategy works out. But a lot of these guys are close enough that pitting earlier or later can make a big difference in finishing position.
Yeah, just having a quick catch up with the leaders. Looks like Leski's pulling away from Ollie. Ollie looks like he's having little mistakes creep into his racing.
Yeah, so he may trying too hard, trying to close the gap, but it's not going to happen. Strategy is what he's going to be relying on. However, he is now 5 seconds back, so he must have.
Yeah, his last lap was a 49. That explains some of the time, but not all of it. But Daniel Lopez and Kazuki closing up on him.
Alright, looking at the replay, looks like he car got a bit sideways going through Puhan and he ran very wide, so he lost even more time to Aleski. So Aleski has a comfortable lead now over Ali Pakala, of about 6 seconds or so. Now Daniel Lopez is another 6 or so seconds behind, followed closely by Kazuki Omashima, who I'm surprised Daniel didn't drop him. So Kazuki has the pace, and Daniel should be worried that he's kept with him all these laps. So once pit windows opens and we see what goes on with the strategy, it's going to be interesting to see what happens between these two guys. This is the fight for a third position, and it could become the fight for a second, depending on what goes on with Ollie. So Daniel Lopez versus Kazuki Omashima for the podium place.
Indeed, and we do know that Ollie likes to go a little bit longer on race pace compared to others. And also just behind that little group of guys, we've got Isaac Price still down in the back of Rasmus. Rasmus has had plenty of pressure so far in this race, so he's just soaking it up nicely. Driving for Twister Racing.
Yeah, so Isaac is in 6th position, is a fight for 5th against Rasmus Daly. Much closer after that back straight now, and we'll see if he has a good draft gear to get closer to Tally down the front straight.
One person who will be kicking himself, I'm pretty sure, is Ricardo Pastroledo. Starting on pole, he's way down in 10th. He doesn't seem to be making any headway forward. In fact, it looks like Pierre Abustu is catching him up actually, so Ricardo just getting past Antoine.
Yeah, I suspect he may have had a little bit of damage, maybe a tiny bit of side contact messing up his aerodynamics, so he's probably not able to get 100% out of the car. But still, he's in a decent position, 10th place, and it's a long way to go in the race. So he's going to be looking to just pick up some good points.
Yeah, keep his head on him. Meanwhile, Rasmus still absorbing this pressure from Isaac. It looks like Daniel Lopez is starting to pull a little bit away from Kazuki.
Yeah, Tally, of course, held off Daniel Lopez for a very long time until he made a mistake going in to turn 12. So, he's not going to be rattled too quickly by Isaac Price, but Price needs to put some solid laps together and stay right on his tail. You never know, he might make another mistake.
And again, it looks like Rasmus is getting a good run out of the double right-hander. Down the back straight into the bus stop, but Isaac closing up quite a lot under braking.
and he's
Kazuki.
losing on traction. Looks like on corner exit. So Ali looks like he's either has a better back end on that setup.
It almost sounds as if they're using first gear again, which is a little bit strange actually, since they changed it in Season 3.
Yeah, the first gears are a lot shorter, much more realistic set to what the real life F1 guys run. But you know, turn 1 is a very slow speed corner, same as the last chicane, so they're probably just using it and short shifting up to second, which will probably give them a little advantage, a few thousandths of a second, but nothing huge. But again, from like Price watching his on board, you can see that you know, he doesn't have the traction he needs, you know, coming off of there, and using such a low gear, he's probably spinning the tires up a little bit.
And Isaac not finding any more time again through this middle section on Rasmus. Just have a look how Daniel's doing. Daniel's catching up to a back mark, I think. It's Jon Jens. Jens gets
Just
out
let
of the
them
way.
both by. Yep. So things have settled down a bit. You know, just before you know, the pit stops are about to begin. So we'll see how things shake up. But just another run through of the order. Aleksey Jakala is leading the race by now 5.8 seconds over Ali Pakala. Then it's Daniel Lopez in third, followed not too far behind by Kazuki Omishima. Then Rasmus Tali in fifth, Isaac Price
Kazuki
in
jumps
sixth.
in, sorry Marcus. Kazuki jumps into the pits.
So he's pitting on lap 20, so completing lap 20 on this lap. He has another, what is it,
That's Jon
23, 24
Jens
laps
as
to
well.
go?
Yeah, he's got 24, 25 more laps now.
So an interesting strategy. So Kazuki going, you know, nearly half and half. So we'll see how much further Daniel Lopez goes, because if Daniel Lopez goes 2 or 3 laps longer, then it shows that he had the pace this whole time. So he'll probably get a bit of a gap on Kazuki after this.
Oh, Ricardo's had a spin round turn 1. Just missed that as I was flicking back up. Looks like he's lost out there to Michele Cecchini.
He lost a tremendous amount of time, and looks like he barely kept it out of the wall. So Ricardo making a mistake there.
Yeah, that's P13, isn't it? That he's in now. Kazuki's come out of the pitch just in front of them.
Absolutely.
That's shaping up to be something quite interesting. Castronedo might have picked up a little bit of front wing damage from that.
Yeah, I think he barely missed the wall because he had to reverse, but the fact that Kazuki came out ahead of him because of that instance of his probably helped Kazuki out a significant amount. Now that he can just run some decent laps in clear air. He has someone right on his tail, but they shouldn't be bothering him too much once he gets up to speed.
Kazuki's definitely got the pace, but now he's on a lot heavier fuel than these guys will be.
That's a quick update on Rasmus Tali and Isaac Price. Looks like Isaac is still trying to, you know, get by him, but he's again losing out a bit on track. He's a lot closer coming out of turn 1 now, going down into Eau Rouge here. So we'll see how much of a run he can get. His car looks good through Eau Rouge, and he will, has a good run now, a good draft.
Someone who has picked the pace up since he's been running on his own is Daniel Lopez, 45.8 that last lap round. So he's getting quite light on fuel.
I think he's gained a few tenths on the leaders that lap, so the gap from him to leaders now is down to 10 seconds. And Ali Pakala is only 6 seconds behind, so he's only a few seconds behind Ali, and he's well in range to make the difference in terms of strategy. So he can be fighting for second place easily, and depending on when he pits compared to Aleksey, he could be fighting for the win.
Still Isaac, still under the rear wing of Rasmus. Rasmus doing everything he can, still soaking the pressure. He's a little bit too deep there though.
Yeah, car doesn't handle that as best in the dirty air, but Isaac seems to have the pace, so we'll see if he's a bit lighter than Tally or not, but it's a long way to go in this race. And, still a lot of people to pit. It's lap 22, going on to 23 or 44.
Starting up onto lap 23 now. Let's not forget the start-finish line has changed as well. It's now halfway up the grid rather than right at the end.
Yep. Not going to make much of a difference in terms of close finishes, but it's an interesting one.
Just hearing as well, Kazuki's pit stop was 7 seconds, Yonyen's was 8.5. Yonyen's is a lap down though, so might have expected him to take a little bit less fuel.
Kazuki is still in a good position. He's 43 seconds behind on the leaders. I know the delta for pit lane is 30-some seconds, so he's still from the delta very close to Daniel Lopez, who seemed to have lost some time in the last few laps. So last lap was a 47.7, so he lost about a second and a half, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
I also seen a little incident at the end of the start of lap 23 actually from Lee Thompson. Gets past Yonyen's coming around turn 1. Just gets onto the AstroTurf and puts the power down and has a little moment. So that's him back down now. P16.
Yep, Fabio Cormo just ahead of him.
Two back markers there, Yonyen's and Antoine Hivlin, who were actually in their own little battle. Those two obviously don't want to give up too much time between each other. You know Yonyen's has pitted. Antoine, I think, is still yet to pit. Lee looks like he's dropped off the back of Fabio there.
Yeah, both these guys are lapped down, but still fighting for 20th position. Their point is going to be valuable for this season, so, no matter what unfortunate incident becomes with these drivers in the first few laps, they'll try and finish the race no matter what.
Indeed, it does actually look like Yonyen's has got some rear wing damage. But still to be lapping in the 51s, that's a great pace.
Alright, just a quick update on Kazuki Oshima is still in 10th position. 45 seconds now behind the leader, so he's lost, consecutively a few tenths of a second a lap. Just on being heavier on fuel than the leaders at this stage of the race. So pitting a bit early has hurt him a bit, but his delta to Daniel Lopez is still very close, so he has a chance to hop Lopez. Lopez isn't running that great a pace at the moment, but we'll see how this turns out and how longer Lopez goes for this time.
I'm saying that Lopez was the quickest again. Last lap round, 45.7. Oleski was also in a 45.7, he's now just in a 45.6. So Oleski's starting to pick the pace up the lead.
And Daniel Lopez is in the pits, lap 24.
So here comes Rasmus through. So that's Rasmus now up into P3.
So what we'll keep an eye on now is to see how far behind Kazuki is and how close he is going to be once Daniel Lopez comes out of the pits.
P8, Paulo Moya coming through.
Kazuki is now going through the last chicane. Lopez is still taking full. Kazuki is coming up out of the last corner now. Lopez is exiting the pits, still on the limiter, and he's out of the pits now. So he successfully came out ahead of Kazuki, but not by a huge margin. And Kazuki's tire is a bit warm, so we'll see him probably catch up a bit on Daniel Lopez over the next few laps.
Indeed we will, and also Pierre pitted on that last lap as well. It sounds like he had someone in the gravel. Just my sounds playing up on me. Just hearing Daniel Lopez 9.5 seconds in the pits. It also looks like we might have lost Fabio Di Carmo. Connection might have just dropped, which is a shame. He was running rather well, actually, Fabio.
Well, I'm still seeing him here in 15th position, I think he is.
It was P15. Ah, he's just reappeared now.
And so waiting for things to take up a bit and after a few pit stops, but we're still waiting for the leader Aleski, Jackola, and Olli Pakala for their pit stops. Daniel Lopez has already pitted. Rasmus Tally, Isaac Price, still has yet to pit. As well as Paul Ilberg, Aleksi Loma, and looks like Paul Moore.
Yeah, so the ones to watch are really Daniel Lopez. He could make himself a little bit of a menace up front. As long as he can get that pace straight back down, soak up the pressure that's coming from behind.
Absolutely, but the fact that these guys in the top two has gone longer than Daniel Lopez, they're running fast laps now with low fuel. While Lopez is getting his tires up to temperature and still trying to push to get the pace back up after a pit stop.
We have Ricciardo and Jan Zlowski in the pits.
So lap 26.
Ricciardo pulls up just behind the safety car, and Jan's pretty much already out of the box.
So we'll see how close this is between these two guys.
And if it looks like Ricciardo might have pulled a little bit more extra there. Ricciardo, sorry, pulled a little bit extra on Jan. That's Yuhu Abe just in front of them now. Yuhu has pitted, remember? Our first one on lap 16, was it, Marcus?
Yeah, but he's still very close to them, so they've gained some time on him, it looks like. But their pit stops didn't help them much, but we'll see how it goes. After these few laps, once they build back up, we'll see if they can pull up to catch up for position.
So Daniel Lopez still getting his pressure from Kazuki, not as much as he was previously.
But it's status quo again after a early pit stop from Kazuki, so that's good to see that the pace difference on Kazuki pitting earlier and Daniel Lopez pitting a fair amount later, kind of brought them back together again. Looks like Daniel's run a little bit wide. Kazuki's on the outside, he has good momentum, so he's going to be turning into turn 1 first, and as well as... Whoa! Looks like Michele Cecchini stuck it up inside of Daniel Lopez.
I think Lopez was quite expecting that.
Yeah, so he left a lot of room for him, but he put himself wide, so he would have lost a lot of time now in 2 positions.
And here he goes already. Cecchini already going defensive.
Yeah, Daniel Lopez won't be able to do anything about it here going into turn 5. But Cecchini's going to lose some time from taking such a defensive line through these 3 corners. And we know how fast Lopez is, especially in the middle sector. So we'll see what happens on the back straight. He's going to be very close to him. But Kazuki Omashima, he has gotten the position from Daniel Lopez. And they've been very close on pace throughout the first stint. So don't expect Daniel Lopez to pull up on him anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe you called it a little bit earlier. Maybe Kazuki's going for the 2-stopper, Marcus.
I hope not. I hope he just chose to get a lot of fuel. I'm rooting for him. We'll see how it goes. Looks like Aleski is in the pits,
Rasmus
as well
Tally
as Olli. So Olli unable to make up anything on Aleski from a pit strategy. So Aleski is going to exit the pits ahead of him and still have that 7-second gap.
Yeah, and that promotes Isaac Price up into the lead.
Yeah, so how much longer is he going to go by? It should be interesting. His pace is very good so far. He's on lap 28 out of 44, so the latest I expected to see guys pitting was like lap 30 or so.
It looks like we've got Aleski putting a move on Aleski. To Glacier TV drivers, Aleski Aloma putting the move on Aleksey Yakola. Yusa Yakola, sorry. So
Yeah, so I don't
Aleksey
think.
from the lead is now P3, I think.
Yeah, Aloma I don't think has pitted yet, so it's another guy going a lot longer than we expected. So he's just going to pull away from Yakola, so he's not going to hold him up much at all. However, yeah, so Ollie is not that far behind, so if he had held him up a bit, it would have been beneficial for Ollie, but we'll see how it shapes out over these next few laps.
And Paul Wilbrink as well. He's up into second because of this. So Price still in the lead. Let's see if he stops this time round. Lap 28. Indeed he
Yes.
does.
Alright, good pit entry, maximizing.
And so was Paul Wilbrink as well. Aleksey Aloma stays out. So Aleksey takes the lead of this race.
Absolutely.
In fact, it looks like he just missed out on that lead lap.
And so Paul Brink and Isaac in the pits.
Isaac
Isaac going to
Price.
come out ahead of him, of course.
Yeah, Isaac's already
whoa.
on his way out.
It looks like. Okay. Sorry.
Kazuki saying sorry to somebody, not sure who.
And he may have damage. So,
Yeah,
look
he's
back on the
pulled out.
replay here. Whoa. So he lost the car a bit going through the last two corners, half spun it, and the guy behind him made contact into the side of his car. So it looks like Michel Cecchini ran straight into the side of him from a few seconds back. Just a bit odd. You should have seen him. I guess he didn't have time to react, but side-by-side contact with Kazuki. So Kazuki has some damage to his car and the side pods. Michel Cecchini will need a wing change. And I don't know if Cecchini has pitted or not yet, but he's very slow now, so he's going to try and crawl back to the pits to get a wing change.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
sounds like
hasn't pitted
Cecchini
yet, so-
hasn't.
So we'll see how it works out. But that's an unfortunate incident there. Kazuki got his car a bit sideways through the last two corners and got the bit, and it looks like he's retired from the race as well. So he got critical damage there in his car, and he's retired from the race from, easily a nice top 10 position for Kazuki.
Aleksey Aloma comes into the pits, giving the lead back to his teammate. And also Paulo Myers jumped into the pits. He was running quite high in P5.
Absolutely, and
before
not
the
too far
pits.
behind Aleksey as well.
That's now moved everybody pretty much back how they were.
See how it works out. Still very close between Daniel Lopez and Tally, as well as Aleksey's coming out of the pits now while these guys are going into turn one.
This will be close. Looks like
Extremely
Aleksey's got
close.
the jump. These guys have the tyres up to temperature.
Absolutely, and they're up to speed already, so they should make up some time on him going through the middle style in his first lap or two. So we'll see how it works out. But Daniel Lopez, it looks like, is the big loser after the round of pit stops, and all of them lost their position as well to Aleksey Aloma. So Aleksey running very long all the way to lap 29, 130, has hopped these guys, but now he has to defend hard against them.
Aleksey is a seasoned guy in the car. They know how to drive it. Apologies for the ticker, it seems to be broken at the minute. I'm sure we'll keep you updated every couple of laps with who's where. So far, Aleksey leads this race from Ollie Pacala. Looks like Isaac Price has jumped quite high as well. He's up into third now. So going longer has definitely helped him.
I think it's Aleksey in third at the moment. Oh, we'll see.
Ollie's just come around for second. Next on the road is Isaac,
Isaac
and he is in
Price,
third.
wow. That is surprising. Wasn't he fighting for position behind Daniel Lopez and all these guys?
He was fighting with Oleski, wasn't it?
Wow, so not only did he jump Rasmus Tally and Daniel Lopez, but he was able to get ahead and stay ahead of Oleski Loma as well. So Isaac Price is in a very fantastic position at the moment. A few seconds up the road from Oleski Loma, but Loma running so much longer than everybody means that he had the pace. So we'll see what he can do now with his lower fuel and just about 13 or so laps to go.
So Isaac definitely the biggest winner into the pit stop phase. Lap
Absolutely.
32 coming on to now.
Yes. So just a run through of the positions after the pit stop. It's Lesky versus Jacula again in first position, followed by Olli Pakala in second place, back by about 7 seconds. Then it's Isaac Price in third position after a very interesting pit strategy. And Lesky Loma behind him by a few seconds in fourth position. Rasmus Tally in fifth. Daniel Lopez seeing a familiar rear end in sixth position. And it's Paul Ilbrich in seventh. Paulo Bue in eighth position. Yuo Abe in ninth. And Pierre Ubitsu in 10th.
And Daniel Lopez still finding himself stuck under Rasmus Tally's wing. Again for the second time in this race.
Looks like we missed it, but Yanni Olowski has got past Ricardo Castellito for 11th position. So from the replay, it looks like we got him going down the front straight, passed him on the outside going to turn 5. So Yanni Olowski up to 11th position, just outside of the top 10. Still a decent amount of laps to go. And Yuo Abe is in the pits. So Yuo Abe is in the pits just now, and Yanni Olowski and Ricardo is going through turn 1 at the moment, and some other guys approaching, so he's going to lose probably 5 or 6 positions. So that's something we missed there. Looks like he's...
That's what we have. Not sure if anybody could have a look back at that. In pit road commentator, reporter, sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like Yanni Olowski is going to be up to 10th position now. So we have about 12 laps to go. So yeah, that's interesting. Yuo Abe having a very, very late pit stop, which I think did not do him any favors. So it's lap 32. We'll see what can happen with them and what the position is once things roll over on the ticker. But Lee Thompson is ahead of him, of course, on track now.
It is a bit of a surprise from Yoo-Hoo. Sure, he's definitely got the pace. He's at least fueled to the end now. Maybe looking at that two-stopper. Slipped under the radar from us.
Absolutely. So this first Pro Series race, an unfortunate large accident on the first few laps, lost a lot of drivers, which would have made this race much more interesting. I'm sure a lot of them were looking at the replay and making sure they did everything right. Some of them caught up in incidents they couldn't do anything about it, but that's in the past. So on lap 33 of 44, Oleski Justus Jacula is in the lead, followed by Olli Pakala. We've seen a three-way fight become a two-way fight, and then just one guy now, Oleski, just needing to maintain the pace to win it now. And Isaac Price in the third position on the podium after a interesting pitch strategy. So there's still a few laps to go, and a lot of these guys are very close. Daniel Lopez again is very close to Rasmus Tally. through the middle sector, but just as the first half of this race, he hasn't been able to do much about it with his McLaren 7th gear.
Thank you, Joe.
Just hearing Kazuki's been DQ'd.
So
Yeah, apparently 17 incidents and you're done apparently.
yes, it's the new rule this season. So 17 incidents and you're automatically booted from the race. It's experimental rule change, mainly to catch people who are accepting, I guess, 1x incidents, you know, to prep the track as much as they can. However, you know, someone who makes contact with another driver 2 or 3 times, you know, can easily get a foul of it. But at the same time, you know, having so many contact during a race is still not a good thing. So DJ looks like he's going to be classified 21st position, so there's still some points in his pocket after the damage, so he still has a decent finishing position at the end of the day.
Yes, I didn't think they were going to be doing that in the Pro Series, but obviously they are, so new ruling, everyone has to stick to it, pro or not.
Absolutely. It's a rule that has its merits and it's still experimental, so we'll see how it works out. But you know, a driver just has to be mindful of, you know, going off track, you know, lap after lap for 17 laps or something, or they have an incident, you know, or just to be a bit more careful and not to go for the risky center moves of the inside in every game.
Yeah, so here we go, 10 laps remaining. Rasmus still holding Daniel Lopez behind him. Our closest battle pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, I don't think Rasmus is going to make another mistake to let him by this time. And Daniel, you know, from what was looking to be a very good third position, and he's stuck behind Tally again, and currently in 6th position. I don't think he'll be liking that much.
Indeed it won't. And again, he'll sure be kicking himself for the shorter 7th gear.
Absolutely, it surprised me. This is Spa of all places, and they have a bit of a tailwind going down the front straight, hitting like 15, 16 kilometers an hour without the draft. So I'm surprised these guys didn't set a overdrive gear just to make sure they take full advantage of it, you know, to pass, you know, to the best of their ability.
Looks like Rasmus, all he needs to do is just keep his nose clean, and he should have this 5th place in the bag.
Absolutely. Paul Ilberg is not too far behind him, so the moment they start fighting for position, he's going to be on their tail again, looking to pick up the scraps.
Yeah, and Paulo Myers coming into shot also.
Yep, he's in 8th position with Pierre Bitsu further on the road behind him, and then Jan in 10th position. So some decent gaps between most of these guys here now, but of course a lot of these guys survived the lap 1 melee.
Daniel Lopez, Marcus, having a look around the outside into the bus stop. Roughly about the same on the brakes.
Too far
Let's
back to
get
do
it
anything
done.
about it. It seems Lopez, for some reason, is reluctant to set up a position. So if he had went a bit wider to the right for the left-hander in the chicane, would have been able to set up a better run, you know, coming out of the last corner. But he's taking a shallow entry to the corner, just like Rasmus ahead of him, so he's not going to gain anything, but only lose, you know, time from traction on the exit. So he needs to calm himself down a little bit and be a bit smarter about how he's looking to set up this position. He has the pace, he just needs to put it together.
Hilbrink is edging ever closer. 46 last lap round from Hilbrink, so he's quicker than these two in front of him.
So every time Daniel puts a nose in, you know, Paul is going to get closer, and I'm sure Paul, has experience in the DWC. He's not going to hesitate to go for a gap, but he is a clean racer, so he's going to, when he does it, it's going to stick.
Yeah, just having a little look further back as well. Yuhu Abe has made it past Lee Thompson. So Yuhu's now up into 13th. Chasing down Fabio Di Carmo. Ricardo Castroledo's still in 11th. Started from pole. Had all the promise of driving away with this one, but looks like his start failed him.
Absolutely. Possibly a bit of damage as well, but didn't catch where he may have picked it up or not. Not sure yet. But it
Daniel
just
Lopez
shows.
at the inside. Oh, there's contact.
Oh,
Looks like Rasmus is over. That's just allowed Paul Elbrink through.
that is unfortunate. This is a tough one. Let's see if we can get a replay of it. So looking at the replay, Daniel Lopez went on the inside, but he did slow extra. But it looks like Rasmus turned in on him a bit, even though Lopez wasn't absolutely at the apex. Rasmus still turned in a bit early. He should have been waiting to see where Lopez goes with the scar. So can't put full blame on Lopez there. However, he did stick it up the inside, but he was side by side with him, so he had all right. But he did a good thing of slowing down extra, nearly putting the car to a stop. But it seems Rasmus, lost out in terms of racecraft. Just didn't. Was it smart about it? Unfortunate.
Yes,
It's
Spotter
unfortunate
would
to
have
see
been
any
telling
driver.
him.
It's unfortunate to see any driver get out of the race, but at the same time, this is a racing incident, so there's no full blame to go out to anybody. But at the same time, both drivers just being, a little bit smarter in positioning the car, and the incident would have been avoided completely.
Daniel did everything right, got his car where it needed to be. Like I say, that just looked like Rasmus turned in. Maybe not quite expecting him to brake as late as he did from Daniel. Indeed, that's the sad thing.
Yeah, they were both side by side going into the last corner there, so Daniel didn't need to brake later, but it seemed like he did. He locked up his tires a bit, so he wasn't able to keep it to the inside of the curb. But at the same time, Rasmus just turned in, expecting to keep momentum around the outside, and it just didn't happen. But I think Rasmus made contact with Daniel's left front wheel, so he may not have damage, if a little bit of wing damage. So he has Paulo Mui not too far behind him, so he may be under threat to lose his position even after losing the position already to Paul Elbrink. So Paul Elbrink now up to 5th position. So he was relatively patient, watched these guys go at it, and he's the victor out of this.
So Daniel doesn't gain or lose any position, still sticks in 6th, sorry. Now he's got to chase down Paul Elbrink in front, but also watch out for Paulo Maya just behind. Paulo 147.6. Daniel's lost that 48.0.
So it looks like Uabe has got past Ricardo, and he's followed close by Fabio Di Carmo, as well as Lee Thompson. So he's not out of the hot water yet, Ricardo is, and he's looking like he's possibly going to lose another 2 positions. So again, as you said, a very promising race for him, but it all started with his terrible start off the line. And race starts at the once the lights go out, so it's the driver's ability from start and the rest of the race to put it together, and he didn't. So he's just gonna, if he's smart, he's just going to not fight these guys too hard, but make sure he gets a decent finishing position, and just look forward to the next one. He has the pace.
Yeah, not long left now. soaking up all this pressure. He's already going defensive. Now switches back. But this is
Oh,
just bringing Lee Thompson. Oh, he's gone a little bit deep there as Ricciardo.
a bit of a slide, and Fabio set up the undercut fantastically well there. He should have his car a bit sooner to get a better run. He's close going to turn 1, but not close enough to stick it up the inside. But he's going to have a fantastic run going down the front stretch here, followed very closely by Lee Thompson. So you can watch it on board with Fabio. He's going to be very close to the product going down the through Eau Rouge here.
Oh, a little
Has a
bit
good run. He's
understeer.
very close. He's in a draft. Ricciardo is defending on the inside.
Lee Thompson stays around the outside.
Fabio braking on the outside. He's leaving him room. Hesitant to turn in, so
Oh, Lee Thompson very close to the back of Fabio.
absolutely Fabio was way too cautious there. Ricciardo left him, you know, the full car length and a little bit more of room. All he needed to do was just to run the outside line, but he was a bit hesitant. So maybe it's his first side-by-side racing of the day. But still, he lost the opportunity to take a position there from Ricciardo. But Ricciardo is not on the pace at the moment, so he's going to have another chance. We'll see what Lee does, if he's going to wait for Fabio to do something, or if he's going to force the issue on Fabio. Now, especially going down the back straight, now he exists gloves.
Yeah, not very many laps left. We are getting late into this, so maybe it is just Fabio thinking, I need to finish this race. Currently sitting P12, Ricciardo P11.
Lee Thompson has a good draft, going through the penultimate corner here, but he's not close enough to do anything about it. But Fabio is very close, and looked up the inside there. That was a bit of a waste, and he slides to the back end. So Fabio from setting up a possibility to make a pass very well to being a bit ragged now. So blood is a bit hot, and he's starting to make a bit of mistake. So Lee is in a good position now to do something about it.
Yeah, 5 laps remaining for these guys.
So
Thompson
first,
under
the
some
leader has just started lap 41 of 44. Just a quick run through of the order. Celesti in the lead by 7.7 seconds to Ollie Pakala, followed in third position by Isaac Price, then Aleski Uloma, Paul Ilbrick in 5th position, Daniel Lopez in 6th, Paulo Moya in 7th, Pierre Obitsu in 8th, Yanni Wolaski in 9th, Yuo Abe in 10th, and Ricardo Castrolito in 11th, Fabio De Pormo in 12th, and Lee Thompson in 13th. And the guys on that finishing up with Javier Jose Martinez in 14th, and the runners go down to 16th or 17th.
So Lee Thompson now starting to pile the pressure on Fabio Di Carmo. Lee finishing 3rd, I think it was, in season 3.
All these guys are in a good position to pick up some really good points, picking up the spoils that a lot of faster guys who are certainly going to be in the top 10 fight at Watkins Glen in, next week. Just another week before these guys are back on track. It's going to be a bit crazy. So the main fight at the moment is for 11th position. Ricardo Castrolito,
little switch.
all over the place at the back end, looking to defend and try and keep this 11th position here from Fabio De Pormo.
Yeah, Fabio seems to carry a lot more speed through turn 1. He's already right onto the back of Ricciardo.
I see he should have a very good run now. He's a lot closer going up through Eau Rouge. You can tell that Ricardo's car is not comfortable going through there. Again, he has a good run. Ricardo is defending to the inside. Fabio's on the outside, so let's see if he's learned a bit. He's too far back to stay on the outside, so not quite side by side to force the issue on the outside, and he had to back off there. So Fabio's learning a few lessons in terms of racecraft and passing here from Ricardo, defending very well, fair, and a little bit hard, but we'll see how it goes towards the end of this race here.
Yeah, Lee having a little look up the inside as well. Thought better of it. It was a little bit wide. Ricardo just seems to get away in this middle sector. We've pretty much been saying that all day with the guy who's in the draft. In the dirty air, sorry, seems to struggle with the front end going down.
Car feels like it's plowing a bit. It's a bit of understeer. You can adjust your line for it, but you can only push through it. So I assume Lee is being patient, or maybe doesn't have the pace to do anything about it. But it's in 13th position. He could get a 11th, depending on what happens.
Fabio again showed himself in Ricardo's mirrors. Ricardo hitting the big sausage curb.
Yeah, I don't know if he intends to scare him off the track, but he's the one losing time from entering the corner at such a shallow angle instead of keeping the momentum up going through the corners. He still has about 2.5 laps or so, we'll see how it goes. But again, he should have a good run
22.
down here.
A little bit too far back. I think Lee's just biding his time a little bit. That dirty air is doubling up on him.
Hopefully he
We'll
does
see.
not spot himself, but again, Fabio is not close enough to do anything about it at the moment. So he needs to wisen up a bit and try again next time. But he needs to make sure he gets a good run coming out of the last corner. Although he's very close now, going into turn 9. Middle sector, it's not a fantastic place to stick it up the inside, but that's a good run now going down into Puhan. Is very close, but you won't be able to do much about it. Going down through turn 10, 11. Now going down into turn 12, so he should have a good run going down into the last corner. It's close enough.
Definitely is. And although he drops a little bit there, Lee catches up. It's really all about the final drive off that corner where they've just gone round. Looks like Fabio's got a good one. A little bit too far back though.
Looks like Yanni Olaski has lost 9th position to Yuho Abe.
Ricardo going defensive this time round. Fabio going for the cutback.
So he did it properly. So he's a lot closer going into turn 1. It's going to be a fair amount closer going down the front straight just down line.
Fabio's slightly drifting. Ricardo slightly drifting, sorry. Fabio's very close.
Very close. It should be side by side with that early coming out of Arouge here. Ricardo defending early as he needs to. Fabio going to the left. Side by side has a fantastic run going down the straight. He's going to have the nose on Ricardo going into turn 5 here. And he turns on and passing him on the outside successfully. So Fabio is up to 11th, Ricardo now down to 12, followed closely by Lee Thompson, who has the momentum.
Lee having a look at the inside. Ricardo just says no. I expect Fabio to pull away a little bit from this now. But Lee very, very close. Has a look at the inside. Again, thinks better of it.
But he's doing everything he needs to do, so any tiny mistake from Ricardo and Lee is going to be there.
And again, Lee just showed himself in Ricardo's mirrors.
It's a nice tactic. The driver ahead is kind of forced to look in his mirrors a bit just to make sure the guy isn't really going to stick it up the inside. Only when you can really trust the driver to not pick it up the inside can you kind of ignore him and focus on the line a bit. But Lee is still very close, so if you can get a good run coming out of the last corner and turn 1 as well, it should be close to possibly pass Ricardo going into turn 5.
They're just coming up on some back markers. Lee indeed does get a good run. Looking now down in Rouge.
So it's the last lap, and Oleski, this is Jacula. Sorry to him, we've been picking attention in the last few laps, but he crosses the line to win round 1 of the Pro Series. So fantastic job from him. Olli Pakala is going to cross the line in 2nd position.
Lee looks like he's just not got the top end to get up the inside of Ricardo.
So that's it for those guys. Isaac Price is crossing the line here in third position, the final podium position here. Followed by Aleski Aloma across the line in fourth position. And now we have Paul Ilberg going through the last three corners here as well.
Yeah, looks like it's all over for Lee. Looks like he's gonna slow down at the top of Eau Rouge.
Yeah, so these guys still have most of the lap to go. Paulo Moya crosses the line in seventh position.
So it's now just a waiting game of the guys coming over the line. Yeah, coming over for eighth.
And that's Pierre. Pierre Bitsu in eighth position. Yuo Abe, coming out of the last corner now in ninth after passing Jan Iwalovsky in the last few laps. And Jan crossing the line in 10th position. Good job from him. And Fabio. Fantastic job from Fabio passing Ricardo. And he successfully makes the 12th position here. Or 11th, sorry, followed by Ricardo in 12th and Lee Thompson in 13th.
Yeah, very happy Lee Thompson as well for 13th.
Absolutely. So if you can look at the leader here, Aleski Jussis-Jackola, fantastic race from him. It's unfortunate what happened to Rafa Barone, losing connection, while fighting for the lead as well. But he didn't make any mistakes. Ollie was the one who got the slow down and made a few mistakes after that to put him 10 seconds back. These guys were very close on pace. Fantastic race from Aleski and a very good win from him here in this first round of the Pro Series.
Yeah, seeing some formation flying from the Glacier TV guys. 1, 2, and 4.
Good job from them.
Isaac Price still in that third place.
Yes, we lost a lot of championship contenders in this first race. So these guys picking up as much points as they can in this first race is very important. So they just need to be consistent in the next few rounds, and they should have a fantastic lead to work with, throughout the rest of the season. It's only 10 rounds with one drop race, so every point is going to count. Of course, these guys are fighting for the top 25 to qualify for the Drivers' World Championship grid. And so far, the top 25 here has a proper head start.
Indeed they do. But that does also mean for drivers like Michael Gilman, Tommy Nielsen, Samuel De La Fuente, Iwasaki, Alex Simpson, this will be the drop week pretty much.
Yep.
So,
yes, not good to have a peak for the first one, but just a confirmation of the results. Aleski Jussis-Jackola in first position, fantastic race from him. Olli Pakala in second, Isaac Price in a fantastic podium position in third, Aleski Loma in fourth, Paul Ilberg in fifth, Daniel Lopez in sixth, Paulo Mue in seventh, Pierre Bitsu in eighth, Yuo Abe in ninth, Jan Iwalovsky in 10th. Then we have Fabio De Cormo in 11th, Ricardo Castellito in 12th, Lee Thompson in 13th, Javier Jose Martinez in 14th, Jonas Nukarainen in 15th. Then it's Lasse Bruno Hansen in 16th, Anton Higgelen in 17th, Jon Jens 18th, and Michelle Cicchini in 20th. And then we have a lot of retirees from earlier in the race, and so on. So a lot of fast guys lost out so far, in this first round of the Pro Series. But so far, Aleski Jussis-Jackola is going to be celebrating his first win in the Pro Series and his first proper step to possibly towards this Pro Series championship.
indeed it does. And after all that hectic racing, the first lap crashes, let's just have a little break, have a little video between these breaks, and then we'll get back for some interviews.
By professional driver training centres and race teams including Formula 1 since 2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
So there we have Leo Bodnar, new piece of kit who's bringing to the sim world. I've been very lucky to use it in a team simulator earlier on. Just having a little bit of trouble with the start of the race coming back up. We'll pull up some guys for the interviews. I think, Marcus, you want Daniel Lopez first, so let's just pull him up.
Hey Daniel,
Hey.
congratulations on sixth position, but I'm sure you weren't really looking forward to that.
No, I haven't had a good race today. My strategy was a shorter first stint than the rest of the guys, and I got caught in traffic well, in guys going with a longer first stint during all it. So I got stuck behind Rasmus for 7-8 laps, and then I made some mistakes. So I entered third, I exited the pit on 6th position, and well, that was all. And then I did that mistake that took Rasmus out, so I'm not very happy with the race.
Absolutely. We saw your fight with Rasmus throughout the entire race. It was a tough one, and we saw that you were topping out in 7th gear. Was there
Yes.
a reason you didn't set the gear for the draft, or do you feel that you're setting it mainly for the middle sector or something?
The problem here was that with the wind coming from the northwest, I think, it was really difficult to set a good 7 gear for both straights. So in the Kemmel straight, I was hitting the limiter, but in the other, I was very far from it. So if I had to overtake anyone, I had to do in the other straight. And I'm terrible at the bus stop chicken, so that was not a good deal.
Yes, you went longer than Rasmus, so if you had got past them early, would have made a world of difference for a race, I'm sure. I mean, again, you were looking for possibly a solid podium place position, but you lost out on it, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
the main thing I need to ask you about is the incident with Rasmus, of course. You know, the fight for position ended in tears. What's your position on the accident?
I haven't seen it again but I think it was my fault. I just lost the braking reference because I was always braking at the outside. It was at the inside now, and I didn't know where to brake, to be honest. So I think I got a bit wide in the turn, and I got him. So I'm really sorry for that.
I see. But from my perspective, it looks like you did brake a bit late and you locked it up on the inside, but you did slow down extra. But Rasmus turned in a bit early as well, expecting, I assume, for you to be on the inside curb. So it's a racing incident in my mind, but it's something that could have been avoided either by you braking just a little bit earlier or him, taking a little bit wider line on the entry. But it's unfortunate it ended his race. He finished in 19th. But I assume if you have a message for him, I mean, apology for the incident at least.
Yes, I typed an apology in the race chat, but I want to say it again. I think it was my fault. I don't know. If you say it was he turned in earlier, I don't know. But I think, from my perspective, I didn't see the incident again. I think it was my fault.
Absolutely. Well, owning up to it there, even though there is some room for doubt in terms of play. But congratulations again on a 6th place position here in the first round. And good luck to you next week. You have some solid points to look forward to. It's a good head start for the season. So let's see how well you do next week.
Thank you.
I think we should pull up Isaac Price for finishing third. Good
Hey, Isaac, how you
evening,
doing?
Isaac.
Hello.
Congratulations, firstly, on the third position.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that was possible at the start of the race.
Yeah, started way down in 16th, so definitely plenty of moves going for you.
Yeah, well, I sort of choked qualifying. I think I was sort of aiming to do like a 0.3 or something, and I ended up doing a 0.8. So that was a bit of a disaster. But I didn't really expect it to be possible to gain so many places during the race. And then my lap 1 was pretty eventful as well.
Yeah, I think it was for quite a few people. Obviously, the big incident into turn 1, which quite often we expect. And the top of Eau Rouge as well. Tell us about that one. That looks very scary from where you were.
Yeah, well, I went into Eau Rouge, and I think there was just a car in front of me with a broken front wing, and I was going to like smash into the back of them. So I had to swerve to the right, and then I like got an off track on the right-hand side of Eau Rouge, and then like I had to try and save the car, and I came back on, and I don't know how no one hit me, but I think a few people's races were ruined in that one. But I don't think there was really anything I could do because the car in front of me had damage, and there's no way to really tell that straight off the start. So
Yeah, just having a look back at it then, you definitely lost the back end. And then the incident seemed to come just behind you. Other than that, tell us a little bit about your race, what you was expecting as you was coming into your pit stops.
well, pretty much I had to sort of manage my race the whole way through because of the fact that there was the incident limit on the race. I had like 7 incidents at the end of lap 1, so I was a bit nervous about that. So I just tried to kind of keep it clean in the first half of the race, and then if I needed to make any moves, at least then I knew what the situation was towards the end of the race. I passed Paul, but that was about it. I sat behind Rasmus pretty much the whole of the first stint, just waiting for when I'd be able to use the fact that I had a bit more fuel to try and gain some positions, and it worked better than I even could have possibly expected. I don't really know whether other people had incidents or something, but I think I went from like 8 seconds behind Daniel to like 5-6 seconds ahead. So
Yeah, was you expecting to stay out so long for your pitch strategy, or was that just off the cuff?
I added an extra lap after my bad qualifying, but I didn't want to add too much fuel because I knew that if I added more fuel, I'd end up not being able to pass anyone, and I'd just get stuck behind someone. That was my theory. So my strategy ended up working out pretty much perfectly. But yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you broke up the Glacier guys.
Yeah,
and finishing
I was
third.
Yeah, I was thinking about that during the race. I was like, at least someone's broken up the Glacier podium. That'd be kind of disappointing if one team got the whole podium. Obviously not for them, but for us.
So we're off to Watkins Glen next. You looking forward to it? You hating it already, or?
Watkins Glen isn't really usually a track that I'm that good at. I'm usually better at the sort of slow technical tracks, but this one worked out okay for me. But I think Watkins Glen will be a bit tougher. But if I can get a decent qualifying, then I don't see any reason why I can't be sort of same sort of place again. And I'd be happy with that.
And any final last words for your sponsors, or any shout outs to anyone?
Yeah, we actually got a sponsor today. So it was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, it's simroom.com, and they pretty much sell everything you could want for sim racing, so it's a pretty good sponsor to be having right now.
Well, thank you very much for jumping up talking to us, Isaac.
No problem.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Watkins.
1 week, actually.
Is it? Oh, well, I was going off the DWC stuff.
Yeah, Pro Series is hard and fast.
Who could we pull up next? We've got Oleski, Paul Ilbrink, Petri Kotavara. I think we should go for Oleski.
Hey, last guy, doing?
Yeah, good.
Congrats on the 4th position, man.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising, actually, that I even made the first lap. So kind of happy the pace was actually after I got past the slower cars. Just could drive fast and strategy worked very well.
Yes, you started off further back than I expected to see you in 20th position. I mean, what did the first lap craziness look like from your perspective?
Oh, well, it looked like normal pro race. The new guys, I don't know who even caused the wrecks, but there was some driving, bad driving on the first lap, and I was just trying to take it easy and well get through the incidents, and I lost some time there because I took so easy, but it was still worth it. Because maybe if I went the first lap as fast as Rasmus did, I could have been probably third in this race, but it's still good.
Absolutely. It looks like you went very long on your pit strategy as well. Was the plan to try and jump as many drivers as you can later in the race, or it just turned out to what it did?
Well, my strategy actually was, well, I was going to do 3 laps less, but my qualifying was bad, so I decided to take more fuel because the chances of getting stuck behind people is much smaller and I can leapfrog people on my pit stop, so I had to change the strategy just before the race, but glad it worked.
Absolutely. It worked successfully, but one position you jumped, Paul and Daniel, and I think Paulo Muya as well. But Isaac Price, successfully stayed ahead of you. I mean, did you see the chance to at least catch him in the last stint of the race?
Well, I asked my spotter, what times he's doing, and well, he wasn't that much slower than me, so I pretty much knew that I couldn't catch him without him making mistakes. I didn't really push it. I just kind of drove it, and the car was actually felt really good. I was really relaxed, so the pace was actually a little better than I expected.
Absolutely. Fourth place, some good points in the first round. Looking to get back into DWC again. I assume you're looking forward to Watkins Glen?
Yeah, the Watkins Glen actually, the qualifying should be easier there, but well, it's kind of easy track, so never know what happens.
It's still a racer's track, so we still have another long straight to worry about. So good luck next week, man, and hope to see you in the DWC again. And congrats again for your 4th position here in this first round of Pro Series.
Thank you, and thanks for the team.
So it seems we're going to get Oleski. Maybe let's get Oleski and Ollie up together and see what they've both got to say. So we're going to do a double interview here. Obviously, Team Glacier, so sure you can answer each other's questions. Firstly, Oleski, congrats on the race win. Was you really expecting to be up front with your teammate Ollie, who we know is very quick in this car right behind you?
Well, thanks first of all for the congrats, and yeah, I know that Ollie is gonna be fast. That's why we have we have Ollie in the team.
And same to you, Ollie. Was you expecting him, Oleski, to pull away from you so much?
Yeah, I struggled a lot and made a few mistakes. 3 slowdowns from the air rules and stuff. I streamed my race with GoPro and it caused me a stuttering. But yeah, I was expecting that Alexi goes faster and he deserved the win. He was the fastest today.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that footage, Ollie. But we saw after we lost, what the fight was for 3 guys for position. You saw you make a mistake. I think it was through Puhan. You ran very wide and lost a lot of time to Oleski. I mean, after that, do you see the races being done and just bringing it home, or do you still think you had a chance to push and get back to him?
Yeah, I knew instantly when Alexi got past me. first of all when I got the slowdown, and after that Buhon bump got me. I basically gave up and tried to bring my car back home. I had a bit hard time on Daniel Lopez. He came down to me fast, but he pitted so early, so I knew at that point that P2 will be if I just bring the car home, and yeah, that happens. I'm happy with the result though.
Nice, congratulations on it again. Aleski, you guys were fighting for position with Rocco Baron early in the race. Was there any team plan to gang up on Rocco or anything like that, or was it just, every man for himself until the last few laps?
Well, me and Olli were not in the same radio channel, so we just drove like everyone. No any plans for trying to fight for Rocco or something. Just normal racing.
Yeah, it's the best way to race these races when you don't know what's gonna happen, so you just go with the flow, and when you understand your teammates, there doesn't need to be any talk or stuff. We drive and act to the situations what we got.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. iRacing is developing team functionality and possibly introducing team points down the road. Now that I have you two guys here, first and second in the first round of the Pro Series, how do you guys feel about such a functionality in iRacing?
Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, every guy in the Pro Series and WCS have teams, so it would be very interesting and another boost for the series. Just get the team points and stuff. So yeah, would be
nice. And you two guys, first and second, decent amount of points. Do you see this as your proper head start, for the Pro Series Championship? Now that you can see from the results, there's a lot of fast guys, challengers, you can say, that lost out. So how do you view that?
Well, Spa is always one not ordinary track, so Spa is always special, and I think people will be training much more here. So I think after a couple of races we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Nice. Well, congratulations again.
Thanks.
And
thank you.
Fantastic win and second place there from Ollie as well. Good luck.
Thanks. See ya.
So let's just pull up our final interview with Paul Brink. Welcome, Paul. Congratulations on a 5th place.
Thank you.
Looking like you was going to finish maybe 7th behind Daniel and Rasmus.
Yeah, it was looking that way after the pit stop. I made a little mistake overshooting the pit box a bit, which cost me a bit of time, and I just got out behind them. And yeah, well, at the end, just before they collided, I was catching them a bit because they were so busy fighting with each other, I think. But yeah, just got lucky there to gain 2 spots, so that's good.
Was you thinking maybe go for it or just hang back? I'm happy with 7th.
Well, Paolo wasn't that far behind me as well, so I was just planning to catch up with them and then see what happened for a while. Because if I would start interfering with the fight, we'd probably be even slower together and more guys would catch up with us, so...
You started P11. What was your plans going into the race from the qualifying? Was you happy with your qualifying?
Oh yeah, I thought I would have qualified further back, but I managed to do a pretty good lap in qualifying. So then the start was trying to take it easy, but I got a bit of wheel spin, so not the best of starts. And going into turn 1, it was, well, quite a mess in front of me already, and I was just very lucky to navigate my way through there and got out of it unharmed.
You went a little bit longer than most others did coming into the pit stop phase. Was that planned or?
That was me overshooting, I think. Or do you mean the lap?
The lap that you come in, yes.
Oh, no, that was planned. I usually tend to go a bit late and heavy on fuel at the start. Basically because I also thought I would have qualified a bit further back, but no, it was just planned strategy and it's worked out fine.
Paul, you got a 5th position here for this race and 30 points, so at least a decent head start against the other fast guys that didn't make it past the first lap. You've been in the Drivers' World Championship already, of course, so how do you feel about the chances now after this first race compared to the other guys, especially after qualifying?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, the guys from Glacier, they are so quick, and I'm pretty sure they are looking really good to clinch a championship. But I just hope to get a spot in the top 10 or something, maybe, because I'm sure the guys with bad luck will get back to us. And
Absolutely.
I'm just happy that I started the championship off with a good result.
Absolutely, and congrats again. 5th position, decent amount of points. I assume your goal for the season is consistent top 10 finishes.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for, yes.
Nice. Well, and Watkins next week. I mean, I don't think you've had that many fantastic races there, but are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, oh sure. It's not the most exciting track to drive, but I hope we and our team can do well. Also, Jonas, our new driver, who finished 15th today, did a good job, and I hope he can stay a bit more out of trouble and have a better result next week as well, because I think he's capable of doing top 10s as well. So
Absolutely is. Congratulations again on the 5th position, and you're another driver looking to see back into the Drivers' World Championship next year, and good luck with the team.
yeah, thanks.
Cheers, Paul. Alright, so that comes to the end of it, really. Firstly, I'd like to thank yourself, Marcus, for jumping up. I think you're going to be up here with me every week, aren't you?
Possibly. Hopefully, I'm a decent commentator. We'll see how it works out. But this first race, watching it, it's unfortunate that we saw so many fast drivers get knocked out early in the race. But this is the challenge these guys have to go through. They need to learn to leave room for people and so on. So it's going to be a tough fight for them throughout the Pro Series. 10 exciting, crazy races, getting prepared for the Drivers' World Championship. So we'll see how it works out.
Indeed it will. And also thank you to Charles for jumping in, doing the camera work for us. If you haven't already, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Quick thank you to some of our sponsors, GT Omega, Sim Garage, Leo Bodner. Those guys obviously well known in the community. But thank you again, Charles. Also thank you to Sam Kumo for keeping us company, giving us some pit strategy stuff as well. Thanks for that, Sam. And we'll see you next week at Watkins.
See ya.